Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're headed all the way to South Africa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, to dive into the story of Yoco, a fintech company that's really shaking things up for small businesses.
Awesome.
They've gone from like a small, scrappy startup to a major player in African commerce, and we're going to figure out how. You'll hear straight from the four co-founders, Katlego, Mafai Lingisa Matshoba, Carl Eisen, and Bradley Watfris about their experiences and, their insights. Get ready for some serious aha moments as we learn how Yoco is like opening up commerce and helping entrepreneurs thrive all over the continent.
What's really interesting about Yoko is that their story, it's not like your typical light bulb moment.
Hmm.
They didn't just invent some groundbreaking tech. It's really about seeing a big problem and then having the courage to actually fix it.
Yep.
And it all begins with a simple universal truth.
Friendship.
Friendship.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so let's break down this friendship because it's not your average group of buddies.
Yeah.
Katlego and Lingisa actually met in aftercare as kids. Can you imagine that? And then years later, they ended up reconnecting at university. Talk about fate.
Yeah.
And then you've got Katlego and Carl, total telecom nerds, bonding over their shared passion.
Right. And then they bring in Bradley from Johannesburg to add that like super important financial know-how.
Yeah.
When you look at their backgrounds individually, it's like all the pieces of the puzzle were just waiting to click into place.
It really does seem like destiny.
Yeah.
But what was this problem they were so determined to solve?
Okay, so think about this. In South Africa, over 80% of people had bank cards, but less than 10% of businesses could actually accept them. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Small business owners, they were really desperate to offer card payments, but traditional banks made it almost impossible.
Really?
It was like this huge part of the economy was stuck in the past.
It's crazy to think about all those businesses being held back just because they couldn't take card payments.
Yeah.
It's 2024.
I know. And that's what really like lit a fire under them. They knew they had to level the playing field for these entrepreneurs, give them the tools to really compete.
Yeah.
So they set out on this mission to open up commerce. But, it wasn't easy.
I can imagine getting a banking license is tough for any company. What was it like for them starting from scratch?
Oh, it was brutal. Just imagine spending an entire year navigating South Africa's super complex regulatory landscape.
Oh, wow.
And then just when they thought they had secured the funding, they needed institutional investors backed out at the last minute.
No,
They had to scramble rally their angel investors and basically will themselves to keep going. I can't even imagine the stress.
Wow, talk about resilience. They were really tested right out of the gate. What kept them going during those difficult early days?
Well, Ladisa told me this amazing story about building the first system with his friend Andrew.
Oh.
The moment that first transaction went through, it was pure magic. They actually had to rebuild the entire system just so everyone on the team could experience that same feeling of elation.
That's incredible.
And then there's Carl, who insisted on a rebrand even before they launched. Their initial logo, with its many colors, was going to be a logistical nightmare when printed on their card readers.
So even before they had a single customer, they're already thinking about their brand identity, their values, what they wanted Yoco to represent in the world. Pretty forward thinking. But they didn't stop at just the card reader, did they?
No, not at all. They realized that small businesses needed a whole ecosystem of support. It started with addressing those pain points that were holding them back.
Like what?
Well, they moved beyond just the card reader to offering point-of-sale systems. And get this, they even ventured into providing access to capital, helping businesses get the funding they needed to grow.
Yeah.
It was like they were becoming this one-stop shop for everything a small business could need.
It sounds like they were trying to do it all.
Yeah.
But eventually they realized their true passion, their core strength, was in payments. So they made this conscious decision to double down on that right.
Exactly. And here's the thing. They specifically chose to prioritize smaller merchants, even though going after larger businesses seemed more profitable at first.
Interesting.
It was about staying true to their mission, remembering why they started this whole thing in the first place.
That's incredible. They were willing to walk away from what could have been easier money to focus on the businesses that really needed their help. So how did that translate into their business model, this pay-as-you-go system you mentioned? How does that actually work?
Their whole model embodies their philosophy. It's simple, transparent, and directly aligned with the success of their merchants. No monthly fees, no contracts, just a small transaction fee every time a merchant makes a sale. Their success is completely intertwined with the success of their merchants. They only make money when their merchants make money.
It's brilliant. They're incentivized to provide the best possible experience, to constantly innovate because their own growth depends on it. But that also means they're exposed to the same risks and challenges as their merchants. If the economy takes a hit, their revenue takes a hit too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they got a real taste of that during COVID-19. They actually talked about experiencing a shared vulnerability with their merchants during that time. It wasn't just a business transaction. They were in the trenches together, fighting for survival.
That must have been an incredibly intense experience, but also a very unifying one.
Yeah.
Like they were all in the same boat, weathering the storm together.
And it really solidified their commitment to their merchants. They could have easily focused on protecting their own bottom line, but they doubled down on supporting their merchants, knowing that their fates were intertwined. They even offered flexible payment options and resources to help them adapt to the changing landscape. It was a true test of their values.
Yeah, and their merchants, really appreciated it. It wasn't about demanding discounts or anything. It was more about this like mutual understanding that they were all in it together, it's a testament to the power of building a business on trust and shared values. It's so powerful. It shows that it's not just about the product or service, it's about that human connection, that sense of community that they built. But let's go back to that pay-as-you-go model for a second,
Sure.
because it's so central to their success. You said no monthly fees, no contracts, but like, what are we talking about in terms of transaction fees? What does that actually look like for merchants using their platform?
So they've got a really clear and straightforward approach.
Wow.
Merchants only pay a small percentage per transaction.
Okay.
The exact rate can vary depending on factors like the type of card being used and the merchant's processing volume, but they aim to keep it super competitive.
Got it.
And that's the beauty of it. Their success is completely tied to the volume of transactions their merchants are processing.
So the more successful their merchants are, the more successful Yoco is. Makes sense. And it seems like they're not afraid to challenge the status quo when it comes to their technology either. How does their payment processing tech actually work? What makes it unique or different from what else is out there?
They've invested a lot in building a robust and secure payment processing platform that's, super user-friendly.
Great.
They use a combination of proprietary technology and strategic partnerships with leading payment providers. What sets them apart is that they've designed their system to be incredibly flexible and scalable. It can handle everything from like microtransactions at a local market stall
Wow.
to high-volume sales at a busy restaurant.
That's amazing.
And they're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. They're exploring things like contactless payments, mobile wallets, and even cryptocurrency integration.
Oh, wow.
They want to be at the forefront of the payments revolution.
It sounds like they're not content with just keeping up. They want to lead the way, which brings us to their vision for the future. They talk about opening up commerce, making it accessible to everyone. What does that actually mean in practice?
Their vision is really about breaking down barriers and creating a more inclusive marketplace. They want to empower anyone with an idea and a passion to turn it into a thriving business.
Oh.
It's about making sure that no one is left behind, regardless of their background, resources, or location.
Okay.
And they're doing this through technology. They're creating tools and platforms that make it easier for people to start and grow businesses, access financial services, and connect with customers.
So it's not just about providing payment solutions. It's about building this whole ecosystem that supports entrepreneurs every step of the way. And a key part of that is their ambition to reach 1 million merchants.
Right.
What kind of impact could that have, especially in a country like South Africa with such a high unemployment rate?
Reaching 1 million merchants would be a monumental achievement. Think about the ripple effects. It would create a massive network of entrepreneurs, leading to job creation, boosting local economies, and driving innovation. Imagine the potential to unlock hidden businesses and unleash the creativity and entrepreneurial spirit that's already there in South Africa.
Yeah.
It could be a game changer for the entire country.
It's an incredibly ambitious goal, but knowing Yoco, they'll probably find a way to make it happen. But it's not just about the numbers, is it? They also talk about redefining how companies are built, fostering a culture of authenticity and collaboration. What's behind that?
They're not just focused on building a successful business. They want to build a company that people are proud to be a part of. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels valued, where their voices are heard, and where they can bring their whole selves to work.
Yeah.
It's about empowering employees to take ownership and be part of something bigger than themselves.
I love that. So they're not just trying to change the world of commerce, they're also trying to change the way companies operate, the way they treat their employees.
Exactly. And it's not just about being nice. It's about creating a more sustainable and impactful business. They believe that by fostering a culture of trust, transparency, and collaboration, they can attract and retain top talent, drive innovation, and create a more positive and fulfilling work environment. It's a win-win for everyone.
It's so refreshing to see a company that's not just focused on profits, but also on people and purpose. But I'm curious, how do they actually live out these values in their day-to-day operations? What does this culture of authenticity and collaboration look like in practice?
Well, for starters, they have a flat organizational structure. They've done away with unnecessary hierarchies and bureaucracy, which allows for more open communication and collaboration. They also have a really strong emphasis on personal and professional development.
So they're investing in their employees' growth, helping them reach their full potential. I like that.
And it's not just lip service. They offer things like mentorship programs, leadership training, and opportunities for employees to take on new challenges and stretch their skills. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels supported and empowered to grow.
This is making me want to apply for a job at Yoco. But seriously, it's inspiring to see a company that walks the walk, not just talks the talk. So we've talked about their mission, their business model, their technology, their vision for the future. But let's zoom out for a second and think about the bigger picture. What does the Yoco story tell us about the potential for fintech to drive positive change, especially in emerging markets like South Africa?
Yoco is a shining example of how fintech can be a powerful force for good. It's not just about disrupting traditional financial systems, it's about creating opportunities, empowering individuals, and building a more inclusive and sustainable economy.
It's like they've cracked the code.
Hmm.
They've found a way to use technology to address real-world problems and create a better future for everyone.
Yeah, and they're not doing it alone.
Mhm.
They've built this amazing ecosystem of partners, investors, and supporters who believe in their mission and are helping them scale their impact. They've raised hundreds of millions of dollars in funding from some of the world's leading venture capital firms. And they've partnered with organizations like Google and MasterCard to expand their reach and develop new products and services.
That's incredible. It's amazing to see how far they've come from that scrappy startup with a simple card reader. But what's really striking is that even with all this growth and success, they haven't lost sight of their roots. They still have that same entrepreneurial spirit, that same passion for empowering small businesses.
Yeah, it's a testament to the strength of their leadership and,
Yeah.
the clarity of their vision. They've managed to maintain that core focus while also scaling their operations and expanding into new markets. Yeah. And they're not afraid to take risks and experiment. They're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, exploring new technologies and looking for ways to create even more value for their merchants.
That's what I find so inspiring about their story. They're not content with this building a successful business. They want to change the world. And they're doing it by focusing on the people who are often overlooked and underserved small business owners, entrepreneurs, the backbone of any economy.
It's a powerful reminder that innovation can come from anywhere and that even small businesses can have a huge impact. Yoco is proof that when you combine passion, purpose, and technology, you can achieve amazing things.
So what does this all mean for you? Think about the businesses you interact with every day, the coffee shop on your corner, the local artisan, the online store you love. What if they had access to the same tools and resources as larger businesses? Could they grow even faster, create more jobs, and contribute even more to their communities?
Yoco is showing us that opening up commerce isn't just good for business, it's good for everyone. It creates a ripple effect that benefits the entire economy. It's about empowering individuals, strengthening communities, and building a more inclusive and prosperous future.
It's an inspiring example of how business can be a force for positive change. Yoko's story leaves us wondering, what other barriers to commerce can we break down? What other opportunities are waiting to be unlocked?
It's a call to action for all of us to think bigger, to challenge the status quo, and to find new and innovative ways to create a more just and equitable world. And who knows, maybe the next Yoco is out there just waiting to be discovered.